YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Oh, not even in front of my mic. What is going on? YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all around the world. What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing today? Welcome to Mose Knows. I'm your host, Mose. Back at it again with a What We Learned Week 10. We got a special guest. We got the homie coming through. He'll be here in a second. We're going to get the show started because as y'all saw, Mo's going for the triple header tonight. Now, I think the missus might be a little upset. I had to move some stuff around. Missus might be a little upset because I might be up here the rest of the night. So I got to make it up to her tomorrow and the next day and the day after that. But we are here now, and we are so happy to be with y'all. I hope y'all weeks have went well. I hope your day today went well. The world we living in, there's a lot crazy going on right now. But to be here in this atmosphere, talking football with you good people, man, it's such an exciting place to be. Man, this NFL season, man, has been so up and down. It's been a lot of turmoil. It's been a lot of I don't knows. And, you know, Dion's going to be coming on the show soon. And towards the end of the show, we're going to do our picks for the week. Me and him have been going back and forth making our picks. I feel like both my and Dion's picks have been really good. Like, we're picking good. We're picking good matchups. We're picking good teams to win these games. And they're not winning. That's not on us. That's not on me and Dion. That's not on us that the team is not performing. We picking good. We picking good, but the team's just not winning. They're not winning right now. So we need to figure out what is going on there. My first observation is we always know any given Sunday, you gotta strap up the helmet, you gotta put the cleats on, lace them up tight. You gotta go out, you gotta prove it on the field every single week. There are no gimmies. And this year that has been proven. Some top teams that we thought should have been top tier have been struggling, i.e. the Kansas City Chiefs. Have teams figured out that offense? Have they figured out how to slow them down? Have they made the necessary adjustments that they need to make on the defensive side of the ball to compete? A lot of people say no. Friend of the show, family member of the show, my cousin Terrence, Chiefs fan, he says, listen, I don't know what we're doing on the defensive side of the ball. So this is a team that everybody had slated to make it back to the Super Bowl for a third year in a row. I think they're, starting to get hot now, but nobody could have imagined them with the record that they have right now. Another disappointing team, Washington football team. I expected them to be much, 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 much better than what they're playing like, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And that hasn't happened. You lose Montez Sweat to injury. You lose Chase Young now to a torn ACL midway through the season. But somehow you get a win versus the defending champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They played well that game. They came to fight. We saw a couple weeks ago one of the hottest teams in the league, the Buffalo Bills, get taken down by the Jacksonville Jaguars in a 9-6, like almost a baseball score slugfest. All defensive. They couldn't score a touchdown on the Jacksonville Jaguars. I mean, but that is how the league is going so far. Let's take a look at the matchups. Shout out to Melissa. Thank you so much for being in the chat. Ravens losing to Miami. Let's start with that one. Miami is another team who last year was one game away from making it into the playoffs. So we thought this team would take the next leap. They would take a step forward from where they were last year. And that has not materialized to this point. Injuries to the quarterback position, the underdevelopment of Tua Tagovailoa. Defense has had some injuries and not playing up to par. This Miami team has not lived up to the potential that we saw in them from last year, but yet they come into Thursday night at home against a Baltimore team that was on a roll, and they get a dub by playing defense. The defense came to play. They had gap integrity. They set the edge. They didn't let Lamar escape the pocket too much. Kept him in the pocket. They covered downfield very well. Lamar had to hold on to the ball too long, and he took a couple sacks. The offense couldn't get into any type of rhythm. We know that outside of Lamar, Baltimore doesn't have much of a running game, so that kind of plays into part. But man, the rushing leader was Lamar Jackson with only 39 rushing yards. So they weren't able to move the ball on the ground, and Miami was able to capitalize on that and move the ball on the defensive side. So kudos to the Miami Dolphins. Moving over to Sunday's matchup. I don't think we need to speak much about Atlanta Falcons at the Dallas Cowboys because I don't know if somebody clipped the Falcons' wings before they got off the bus, or even if they got on the bus. I don't know if they made the flight from Atlanta to Dallas, but and I know Dallas was mad. Dallas was coming in on a bit of an emotional high after the beating that they took the previous week at home to the Denver Broncos. So that was kind of a statement game for them that we cannot let people come into our house and dog walk us like the Broncos did. And unfortunately, the Atlanta Falcons was the next team on the schedule, and they got beat down 43-3. And I'm upset about that because in one of my fantasy leagues, I could have won had I started Dallas's defense. See, I started Tampa Bay's defense thinking that Washington's offense wouldn't do too much. Yeah, that was wrong. I was wrong. And then Dallas scored 29 points. Tampa only scored 8. And I lost by 2. Yeah. Thanks, Cowboys. Appreciate you. Moving over to the New Orleans Saints at the Tennessee Titans. This was actually a closer game than I thought it would be. I think the score would have been a little bit different had Derrick Henry played. Tennessee's offense is still trying to find their way post Derrick Henry injury. But this was a pretty good matchup. The Saints are a really good team, even without having their starting quarterback, Jameis Winston, who was also out with a knee injury. Trevor Siemian stepped in and played absolutely well. If I'm the Saints, unless we bring in another veteran quarterback, which I think the only name mentioned right now is Phillip Rivers, I'm sticking with Trevor Siemian. I think you stay with who you have in Trevor Siemian. I don't think you start Taysom Hill as your starting quarterback. I think he needs to stay in his role as the gadget type quarterback, running back, H-back, tight end, wherever you want to put him. But Trevor Siemian has filled in admirably. So I like his progression, and I think he'll be able to help this New Orleans team, especially if their defense continue to play as well as they've been playing. Jacksonville at the Indianapolis Colts. Colts are kind of going on a little bit of a run here. This was a pretty tight game, actually. Division rival, so we knew it was going to be close. 23-17. Colts take the edge. Jonathan Taylor had 116 yards on the ground. So that was a pretty solid game. Moving over, wow. Cleveland Browns at the New England Patriots. Now, the Patriots is a team that I picked to win this week, week 10. However, I didn't know that the beatdown was going to be that severe. Like, I knew that this Patriots team was finding their way to win. Under Mac Jones, rookie quarterback, they had to find a new way to win. It's not going to be the same as when Tom was there. It's not going to be, how they were attempting to win games with Cam Newton. They have to find their way to win. And I think early on in the season, they kind of worked out those kinks and they kind of figured out their identity and found a way to win each and every game. And I think this game against Cleveland was a culmination of that. In the past, Mac Jones, he had 198 yards. It's not going to blow you away in the stat column. But what he is going to do is he's going to manage the game properly, which he has been doing all season. And I think he's getting more comfortable with that. The running game has been big. Ramondre Stevenson has been coming on as a power back for them, somebody who they can also use in the passing game. And we know this team plays defense under Bill Belichick. They have to play defense, and to rout this Browns team 45-7 the way that they did, that was a statement for me. Buffalo Bills at the New York Jets. Bills came out and handled business again. We talked about the Bills earlier. They got their stinkers out the way. Miami was a bit of a stinker. They were able to squeak out. Jacksonville was a stinker that they weren't able to win. So, 2 weeks in a row of not the best football, not their brand of football. Again, certain teams, we talk about there not being any give me's, but certain teams you see on your schedule, you can kind of look at them as get right games. As long as you go in with the right mindset. If you go in that, this is an easy game, don't have to worry about this team, you can get beat. Trust me, I know firsthand. We're not going to go into it, but I know firsthand. But this was a get right game. Bills seeing the Jets, a division opponent on their schedule. Jets with the injuries at quarterback that they have, a rebuilding team, and they put it on them. Josh Allen throws for 366. Stephon Diggs catches how many? I think he caught 7 passes for 162. They put it to him handedly. Next game on the docket is the Detroit Lions at the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's always one game a week. Like there's more than one game. Like I don't pick all the games correctly, but there's always one game a week where I'm like, yo, this messed up my entire picks by them doing this. And for Pittsburgh and Detroit to tie, only scoring 16 points. I'm like, wait, like, what? And I listen, I know Detroit has been giving teams fits, but they haven't been able to win any of those games. So I'm thinking naturally, okay, Detroit might give Pittsburgh a little bit of a fit, but they won't be able to finish out the game. Pittsburgh will get a last-second field goal or a last-minute touchdown and, walk out of there with a W. But to tie and neither team be able to put anything on the board in overtime, it's like, come on, y'all. Like, seriously? Pittsburgh has been this way all season. Very, very up and down. You have good moments from the Steelers, and then you have not so good moments from the Steelers. I'm sure that Detroit Lions fans are encouraged by what they're seeing. This team, although they are 0-8-1, has fought in every single game. And I know a lot of people, myself included, tried to make fun of Dan Campbell with his whole introductory press conference about, biting knees and ankles and shins and calf muscles. And if we get knocked down, we're going to be scratching and clawing and fighting our way back to the top. But this team has bought into that philosophy every single week. Even when it doesn't look pretty, this team is fighting. They are battling. And they haven't given up on the season. At 0-8-1, you can pretty much say, yeah, your season is done. You're not in contention to make the playoffs. They would have to rip off, the rest of these games to even have a shot at 8-8-1. But let's be realistic, that's not going to happen. And even at 8-8-1, somebody who's 9-8 is going to get that spot over 8-8-1. So you can pretty much say that their season is done, but this team is still fighting and battling every single week. So that has to be encouraging for Detroit Lions fans. That has to be encouraging for the players in that locker room. And it has to be encouraging to Coach Dan Campbell. His message is getting across to the players, and you love to see it. We talked about Tampa Bay at Washington. Maybe this was one of those games that Tampa Bay went in and was just like, it's Washington. Nothing much to worry about here. Let's just go in there. Let's get a dub. Let's take it back to Tampa Bay. But Washington came to ball. Again, Taylor Heineke, 256 yards through the air. Antonio Gibson added 64 yards on the ground. They were efficient on the offensive side of the ball. One of their drives, I think, lasted 18 or 19 plays. So they kept the ball away from Tom Brady and that Tampa Bay offense, which is one of the keys to the game anytime you play the Buccaneers and Tom Brady. So Washington came in and did their thing. Excited for them that they were able to get the W. Not excited that we're seeing one of the league's best young pass rushers be sidelined for the rest of the season due to a torn ACL. It sucks for the young man. It sucks for the player. It sucks for the team. He wasn't having a great year. You can say he was in a type of a sophomore slump. But at the end of the day, it's Chase Young. Hold on. It's not letting you in, Dion, because you're late. Let me resend the link to Dion real quick so you can get him in here. You're late, bro. That's the one difference with Restream that I'm not a fan of. Because we all know things happen. Things happen. Things come up. You try to make it on time, but, something else comes up and grabs your attention. Family situation, things of that nature. We all understand that. But Restream be tripping. Like as soon as you start the show, you got like 5 minutes. Something like that. If you don't get in within a certain time, it like locks you out, and then you got to resend the link again. So hopefully me resending the link is Dion in here so we can chop it up about these matchups for week 11. Let me finish these week 10s before we get him in here. Carolina and Arizona Cardinals. I'm so happy for Cam Newton. Now, I didn't pick Carolina because I didn't think Cam Newton would have as much of an impact as he did. I should have known with head coach Matt Rule that he was going to try it early, and he did. One, Carolina's defense played phenomenal. We know that. They were going against the Arizona Cardinal backups because Kyler Murray and D-Hop weren't playing. I know another team that should have went ham against the backups, but I digress. Defense played outstanding. Carolina gets into the red zone. They bring Cam in. First snap, he runs it to the right, stiff arms Byron Murphy, takes it into the end zone for a touchdown. Very next offensive possession, they're back in the red zone. Cam comes in again. He fakes the run because it was so effective on the first drive, throws a touchdown pass to Robbie Anderson. Carolina goes up 14-0, and they coast from there on out. I'm glad to see Cam Newton back in the league. Definitely one of my favorite players. Definitely an amazing situation for him to go back to Carolina, a team that he was so successful with, to be able to come in on short notice and to get a big win over one of the top teams in the NFC. Kudos to the Carolina Panthers. Kudos to Cam Newton for staying ready. He said it on the I Am Athlete podcast. Shout out to Brandon Marshall, Ocho Cinco, Channing Crowder, Fred Taylor. Y'all need to get me on the podcast too so we can talk some football. But shout out to them having on Cam. And he said there are not 32 guys better than me right now. And he was 100% correct about that. There are not 32 quarterbacks better than him in the league right now. So he got his shot back with a team that, he loves and he calls home. And it was good to see him get that win. Plus, as a 49ers fan, I mean, that helps us. I mean, I don't know how much because we a little bit farther back. But anytime seeing a division rival lose, that's always good. Vikings at the Chargers. Listen, I secretly want to root for the Chargers because I'm a big fan of Justin Herbert, right? But they are so up and down too. But I mean, I shouldn't be surprised now because that's just how this season has been. It's been up and down all season long, up and down all season long. So the Chargers have been that up and down team. And when you expect them to do well, they don't. They don't bring their A game. What you mean still not letting you in? Are you going to the right link, bro? Hold on. Let me see. Send me your email in the chat because I don't have it. But back to the Chargers, man. I want to root for them. I know they have a new head coach, but I think this team has shown flashes of being better than the product that they put on the field at times. And I mean, they went up against another team that's hit or miss from week to week in the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings just came out ready to play. Kirk Cousins did his thing, throwing for 294 yards. Appreciate Justin Jefferson because he helped me win my fantasy this week, give me 28 or 29 points. I think he had 9 receptions, 143 yards, maybe 7 or 8 receptions, something like that. JJ did his thing. Kirk Cousins did their thing. And Minnesota came out with the dub. Shout out to my cousin Devin, Vikings fan. That's not going to be the same story in a couple of weeks, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. Moving on to the Eagles, Denver Broncos. This, another team. I could go on and on about a list of teams that have been a major disappointment from a week to week. Like, all right, I don't pick them this week, they win. All right, I picked them this week, they lose. Of course, I didn't pick Denver to beat the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. I didn't. Who would? I don't think too many people did. But who would pick the Denver Broncos to beat the Cowboys in Dallas, like at Jerry World? I didn't. And then I'm watching that game, and they cooking the Cowboys. Offense, defense, special teams, they cooking the Cowboys. So I'm like, yo, all right. And granted, the reason why I picked them this week, because y'all know I don't like the Eagles. Not an Eagles fan. I'm not a fan of Eagles fans. So I think I only picked the Eagles one time this whole season, and that was against the Detroit Lions. Like, I had to pick them then. But I'm thinking, okay, Eagles, East Coast team, got to travel west to Denver in Mile High. So the altitude, we all know altitude plays a problem for the visiting teams. I'm thinking they're going to get to Denver in that altitude. They're going to be gassed early. Not know they left from they right, they up from they down. And then boom. Here come the Eagles playing outstanding football. Jalen Hurts to Devontae Smith. Like, yo, what are y'all doing? Eagles not supposed to be winning no games, because when the Eagles win, I got to hear about it from other Eagles fans. And I don't want to hear about it from other Eagles fans. But they got the dub 30-13. The Broncos, it's a coin flip for picking them the rest of the season. So we'll have to see who's on their schedule, and hopefully we get it right. Finally, he made it. He about 25 minutes late. Talking about the link not working. Well, the link finally worked. Give it up for my main man. Give it up for the bro. Niner Gang Podcast, a.k.a. 49er Dion. What's good with you, bro?
What's good with you, Mose? I am so sorry, brother. Like, I'm just gonna keep it a buck with you. Mental health comes first, and
absolutely
had to get that set up, man. The wife was over my head, so gotta get them sessions set up, bro. I was like, babe, I got it. She was like, you don't have anything. Set this up, and I was like, yeah, yes, ma'am. I understand. You know how it is when the wife she they get a different tone and a different body language, and you
just know. Listen, I told you I'm doing the triple header tonight.
I know.
I got Mose knows. I got Fantasy Holics, and I got Nitty Gritty. After the night, it's gonna be a lot of yes ma'ams
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes,
ain't
ma'am.
gonna be no questions because she looked at me crazy when I told her. Like when I got everything finally set up, I was like, "Can I go and do my thing? I'm super late." And she looked at me. She was like, "Okay." I was like, "All right, thank you, I appreciate it."
And
Don't
that
yell at
list.
me or cuss me out.
Look. That's when you got it. Once you get that final approval, you got to get out of there. You can't
Oh
linger
yeah,
too long.
yeah. I had to
You
vote.
got to go.
Yeah, I had to vote.
You gotta act like you're in a black church. You know, when you get up when the pastor's preaching, but you gotta put that one finger up and just walk out of there quietly and act like you being silent. Oh,
yes, sir. Man. Yeah, because black preacher, they preach on forever.
Forever, bro.
Yeah, what's going on, Melissa? How you doing, Tanya? Yeah, you gotta say Tanya's name right. Somebody called her Tanya one time and got it.
Uh-oh. Say it right.
Say it right.
Say it right. We're gonna finish up these games for week 10. And then we're gonna do what we came here to do, bro. We're gonna do it over here. Next week, set it up. We'll do it on Niner Gang Podcast. We have been talking about doing this for a while. So we got to get the schedules linked up. I'm glad you were able to jump on tonight. So tell the missus I said thank you.
I will.
I'm only going to be on. We only going to be on here for another 25 minutes. So
I'm okay.
That much of your time.
I'm okay. So
hey, blink twice if you need me. Blink twice.
Right. Mose on the other side. Mose on the other side of the country. Talk about blink twice if you need me. Blink. I'll be done by the time I blink that second time.
Oh man. All right. So we got Seattle at the Green Bay Packers. A return for both Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson. Green Bay handled business. Shut them out 17-0. Again, teams in our division losing. I'm okay with that.
That's why I went with the Pack. Purposely, because I don't want the Seahawks to win at all.
Yeah, me too.
But then at the same time, like you got to remember, I think they rushed Russell back. I think they rushed him back because, okay, you know who Eric Crocker is. I don't know who Eric Crocker is. He was there with Geno Smith. Croc said himself, Geno had a little bit of time trying to pick playbook up. Geno is not going to be replacing Russell Wilson. Period. It's not going to happen. And he obviously wasn't winning no games. I think they won one while Russell was out.
I think they won one.
So they probably rushed Russell back. I gotta say that slow because get tongue tied. But I honestly feel like they did, man. And he might still be injured, And that's honestly why I'm going with the Pack.
The crazy part about it is the one game that they won with Geno Smith was against the Jaguars. And that was the week that I picked the Jaguars. I was like, I feel confident in these picks. I got a little leeway to do something crazy. Let me pick the Jaguars against the struggling Seahawks and Geno Smith. They beat them 31-7. Then the next week is when the Jaguars beat the Bills 9-6. What?
And then I'm sitting there thinking to myself, look, I was looking at that. I'm looking at the score. I'm like, why is it only 9-6? The Bills should be breaking them off by now.
What is happening?
I'm sitting there saying to myself, where is Stephon Diggs at? What did they eliminate him? And then I looked at it, and it was Josh Allen killing Josh Allen.
Oh my goodness, that was funny.
I mean, it was that. Talk about a doppelganger effect, man. To an extent, that's Josh Allen if he was black. On the other side of the ball, man.
Exactly.
He was rushing, and I know a lot of people kill me because I wanted Josh Allen. I didn't want Nick Bosa. I wanted Josh Allen.
I wanted Nick Bosa, but if for some reason we didn't get Nick Bosa, I wanted Josh Allen, the outside linebacker.
Yeah, because they said if he went to Arizona, he would have been a stand-up outside linebacker, and I don't think that fits what he does best. He's a hand in the dirt type of dude.
He's a smaller build, but he's definitely hand in the dirt, get in the 3-point stance, and then use his speed and his explosiveness off that edge to create mismatch for tackles. So I think he would have been a perfect fit for us. And I mean, we heard Kyle Shanahan talk about it. We like, we were very high on Josh Allen. It's just we were higher on Nick Bosa.
Yeah. And I kind of knew that was going to be the pick. But I was sitting there and everybody was ragging on me because they were like, well, you just called him injury. I'm like, every stage of his career, he's been injured at some point. And look at him in the NFL. First year, fantastic. Next year, injured. Injuries happen. But unfortunately, you get the tag of being injury prone when you're always injured, i.e. Jason Verrett.
Yep.
We love what he did for us last year. And now another torn ACL. I don't know how much rib he got left, but, they can't keep pulling from different parts of your body to keep repairing the ACL when you got to do that, because that's basically all they're doing. They take from different parts of your body. I mean, heck, when people get nose jobs, they go in, make an incision, take a little piece of bone and put – so it is what it is. But Nick gonna break his rookie sack numbers. He will. He's gonna do that. He's gonna do that. People out there, I love watching the game with Mose, because Mose said, put some respect on my doppelganger name when he was talking about DJ Jones. Talanoa Hufanga. Lord bless him.
Did you hear Hightower's press conference?
I didn't even listen to him. I usually skip past it because sometimes he be on.
Usually I do. But this last press conference with Hightower, bro, he's a coach that I would love to play for. Like, I know he always does it, but he speaks so glowingly of his players. And I think after this game, like, it was, to me, it felt more genuine than any other time where he speaks glowingly of his players. Like, the way he talked about DJ Jones and him making that play, and he was like, yo, that's not even something that we discussed after Kyle called the timeout. I'm sure maybe Kyle thought that, but that's not even something that we discussed. The players themselves was like, yo, be on the lookout for the fake. We know that this team does that. And he says that call for DJ, it's built in, right? So he always knows that he has that look where he kind of can back off, see what's happening, and then, make the read as he goes. So
survey that field and make sure ain't nobody out there trying to do nothing.
He saw it, made the read, and he was like, for him to get outside. And then he praised Hufanga as well. He said for Hufanga to be able to break off of his rush to block, understand that now, the holder had the ball, and to force him to throw that pass earlier than he wanted to, he was like, that was a beautiful play, by the players. And I'm so excited for them being able to get that stop and keep the momentum going into halftime. So if you get a chance, go back and watch that presser from Hightower.
I'll take a look at it, man, because all I saw was Hufanga coming in like a damn missile towards the kicker, and he threw the ball, and next thing you know, when he threw the ball, and I looked at the play, if he got past DJ Jones, the only person he had to get past was Eric Armstead, and we know Armstead is not the most athletic of people. He's 6'7" and just 6'7". That's just a whole lot of human being, but he ain't athletic, so that might have been a chance. But when DJ tripped him up and it sent the whole stadium into a roar, crazy, I was like, that's crazy. And I did not expect that for you to say that. That's what made me die laughing. I was like, Mose said, give my
doppelganger some respect. You know what I'm saying? They don't show, only defensive tackle they really show love to is Aaron Donald. So they need to give some more love out to these DTs.
Did you notice he didn't do no post-game press conference? He wasn't available for comment. They was going to ask him because they would ask him who Debo.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know who Debo Samuel is now, bro?
He probably gonna sit there.
Who? Whatever. Moving on, bro. Let's go to Kansas City Chiefs and the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders are going through a lot of turmoil. A season that started very, very promising for this Las Vegas Raiders team. My wife is a Raiders fan, so having her walking around the house gloating, I was like, this feels weird.
Really?
But the domino effect started with John Gruden being relieved of his duties with the emails that came out. Then the unfortunate incident with Henry Ruggs. And then the boneheaded incident by Damon Arnett. Like, this team has seemed to have more negatives than positives. And going against a Kansas City team who's in your division, who hasn't been performing, this was a game for them to see where they measure up and to kind of take advantage of the woes that the Chiefs are going through this season.
And
Pat Mahomes said, Patrick Mahomes throws for 406 and 5 touchdowns. And he made us remember why he is the new face of the league. Why he's Patrick Mahomes. Why he's the league MVP, followed by the Super Bowl MVP. We know all too well why he's the Super Bowl MVP. So I think Kansas City, I don't want to say they got lucky, but they caught the Raiders at a right time.
Mm-hmm.
With everything that's going on within the organization, I think Kansas City is starting to get hot and figuring out new ways to win games. So them putting up a 40 burger on the Raiders in the division, I think can only catapult them for the rest of their season. We already talked about it a little bit. But I picked the Rams. I'll tell you the truth. I picked the Rams. Our 49ers been struggling. You look at the team with all of this hype. Matthew Stafford's been playing well. Cooper Kupp right now, just this season, stat-wise, is the best wide receiver in the league. We know they got Aaron Donald. We know they got Jalen Ramsey. They add Von Miller. They add OBJ. The buzz is about the Los Angeles Rams. But they came into Levi's Stadium, and they got some get right.
The hard thing for me, and we were talking about this when we were watching, was the disrespect at the beginning of the game. It was like a love fest for the Rams, and you are in my house. At the end of the day, I ain't about to allow nobody to come in my house and continue to talk about my competition like that and not have something to say about me. I liken it to, I don't know, when was it? I think there was a preseason game. They had a whole little montage about Jalen Hurd like he was the second coming of Jerry Rice. And I looked and I was like, y'all know this man ain't played no games in the NFL that mean anything.
Not one
Do
game.
we understand that here? Or are we just forgetting that? And everybody was glowing. Oh, Jalen Hurd this, Jalen Hurd that. And now where is he at? Where he's been belonging for the last couple of years, cut. But when it came down to it, they walked into Levi Stadium, and I'm going to tell you this. We needed that leader. Shout out to Jimmy Ward. I think Ward is the dude. I think when Ward said that he had a players-only meeting, I think Ward was the one that came in here and said, y'all been up there at that podium acting real soft. Oh, we don't need people to tell us mean things. We don't need anyone to yell at us. It doesn't get us anywhere. And he walked in there and said, I'm about to yell at everybody. And I want someone to come up here and try me. And what happened? We come out and had a fantastic game. Everybody seemed to be on their P's and Q's. Even Jimmy for the game management that he did. 15 to 19, 78 yards or something like that. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. A couple of suspect balls, but that's to be expected from Jimmy. So we don't trip off that. We just live with it. And then the defense, turn around. Look at Doug, come out. 1 interception. Why? Because Matthew, this is what I tried to tell people ahead of time. Matthew Stafford, unfortunately, comes from losing. It's hard to shake. Boneheaded mistakes will happen. And when he stepped up to launch that ball, I was like, there's 3 49ers there and only 1 OBJ. This ain't a D-Hop situation. D-Hop could do that. He's proven that on many different occasions. That's not Odell. Odell don't do that. And when he chucked that ball, I was like, that definitely got to be, here we go. And the pick 6, being in perfect position, doing exactly what you were supposed to do. Let me call some, let me put my hand in there and keep messing with him. You know what I'm saying? And the craziest thing is, say the Rams make the playoffs. Do they go anywhere? Because Matthew Stafford don't win in the playoffs. I think he only been once or twice, and he's lost. So the Rams came into our house. They got a whole bottle full of get right. And I don't care what nobody say, man. At the end of the day, Kyle, you always making Sean your bitch. You really are. If you saw Sean McVay's face on the sidelines, he just looked, he was angry. Like I'm telling you, he's like that little brother that was trying to beat up his big brother, and he was holding his hand on his head as he was just swinging in nothing but the air. Just going to town. I'm gonna hit you eventually. He's like, shut up. You ain't gonna do nothing. I'm gonna put your head in the toilet. I'm gonna hold you upside down and take your lunch money. It was beautiful to see. Beautiful to see.
Yeah, man. Kyle Shanahan definitely had Sean McVay's number. So I mean, it is good to see. And I think we have a chance as a 49ers team to really,
Mhm.
really go on a run. If we want to make the playoffs, if we want to get into the tournament and see what we're able to do, we're going to have to go on some type of run. And I think that was a great start on Monday night. All right,
Mhm.
bro, let's do it. Let's get to what we came to do. Week 11, starting tonight, Thursday night matchup, Patriots versus the Falcons. Who you got and why?
I have the Patriots. They are just on a roll. They cannot be stopped. The Falcons have a very suspect defense. I do not believe in Matt Ryan. He is Matt Ryan. He is no longer Matty Ice. Um, and I just don't. Their deep Patriots defense is sickening. And congratulations, Mac Jones. You are working your way into being what they wanted as a quarterback. It was perfect. He actually hugged Commissioner Goodell and said, "This is where I wanted to go anyway." It made sense. You're the guy, and it's working out well. And I need you to keep throwing KB touchdowns, by the way, because I got him on my fantasy. And KB's been balling. I miss him. I know a lot of people may not like him, but I miss him. I love me some KB. I loved his enthusiasm and how he played, man. And I'm not saying that I want, I see you comment, Melissa. I'm not saying I want Mac Jones. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying he fit that system perfectly. He was the square that they were looking for to put into the square hole, and he dropped right on in there. Yep. I got the Patriots.
Honestly, the Patriots is Alabama of the NFL. So he's going into a locker room, into a culture that he's coming from. So there's no change in you got to show up, you got to work, you got to earn it every day. Coach, you can be cool with coach, but if he got to rip you, if he got to rip you, he gonna rip you. If you got to be benched, you're gonna be benched. Like it ain't no favorites. Yeah, you got to come every day. So you're absolutely right. He's going into an atmosphere that he was used to at Alabama. The scheme fits him perfectly, and he's proving what everybody thought. If he goes to a team that is ready to compete right now, he could come in and he could be a game manager and he can help them win games. We obviously know why we went with Trey Lance. We like his ceiling. His ceiling is much higher than Mac Jones. So everybody understands that, but Mac is doing what he's got to do. And like I've been saying for the past couple of weeks, with Mac Jones as their quarterback and with the new pieces that they have on offense and defense, this Patriots team has now found their identity and are finding ways to win football games. This could be kind of a trap game going to Atlanta on a short week. We know their offense does have a little bit of explosion with Cordero Patterson and Kyle Pitts, but I think Bill Belichick, the master defensive mind, will figure out a way to eliminate those guys. And ultimately, Atlanta is not going to be able to keep up with New England. I got the Patriots as well. Moving on to Sunday's matchups, we got the Colts at the Bills, 1:00 game in Buffalo. Who you got?
I took Buffalo. Josh Allen on occasion has let me down a little bit this year, but I think that while the Colts have a solid defense, they don't have everything. They don't have a viable defensive backs. They front seven is where their strength is. But outside of that, I don't see any dudes that are scaring me if I'm throwing the ball. So it makes my life that much easier. And I think Stephon Diggs is going to tear them a brand new one. So I'm going to go with the Bills. Plus the Bills, they got a great defense. They have a great offense. I know that everybody looks at the Jags game and they're like, what happened? That can happen to anyone at any given moment. I guarantee you the Rams walked in there. I guarantee you this, and this is just a prime example. I guarantee you, people don't say this out loud because you can't. It's not good. It's not the right PR move to basically say somebody sucks. But I guarantee you the Rams walked in the Levi's going, we about to break them off. Man, this ain't nothing. This is another dub on the record. And when they went out and they lost, they said, how did that happen? Mm-hmm. You overlook someone, they will make you eat crow every time. And I just think that that's what happened with the Bills when it came to the Jags. They kind of overlooked them, and it got into a defensive game, and it was a kicker's game. But for me, I'm gonna take Buffalo, man. I ain't about. I think Josh Allen he gonna rip it, and he probably gonna have a couple of good little run yards. He gonna stay away from Darius Leonard, of course, because he don't want to get that ball knocked out, and he runs a little. He has a little Michael Vick in him when he runs with the ball. He holds. You ever remember Michael Vick used to hold the ball out all kinds of places, and I'd be looking like, bruh, somebody
better tuck that.
But tuck it. But I got Buffalo.
Me too. I think Carson Wentz is going to do Carson Wentz things. Not the good Carson Wentz things, the bad Carson Wentz things. I got Buffalo as well. Baltimore at Chicago. Two young, exciting, explosive quarterbacks, both with their arm and with their legs. We're not going to disrespect either one of those quarterbacks because they can throw the ball too. I got Baltimore in this matchup. Who you got?
I'm rolling with you. Same people. Baltimore. I like what Chicago is doing. I love the experience that Justin Fields is getting right now. I would love that to be Trey Lance at this moment. But to be honest with you, it ain't you ain't bro. You ain't beating the Ravens. Lamar about to kill y'all po defense. I understand you got the Mac Daddy and all the other stuff. Bro. Y'all ain't about to beat the Ravens. They gonna get you.
Go ahead and hang it up. All right, we got Detroit at Cleveland. I was a little up in the air about this one. What you got?
I'm going with Cleveland. I know Baker came out and said he was beat up and all that. Bro, Detroit can't win a game. They've been fighting these last 2 weeks, and I appreciate their fight.
But they've been fighting, though. Like every week.
They have.
You think they down and out, but they fight. And, I mean, it's not a win, but
the tie is somewhat of a win.
Who did you pick last week? You picked Pittsburgh?
I picked Steelers. Now,
did you count that as a loss or did you count that as a tie?
I just counted that as a tie.
So did I. I'm not taking that loss.
My current record stands at 88-61-1.
What am I? Okay, you
88-61-1 because of the tie.
I'm 87-62-1. So you got one game on me. So we close. Listen, man, I was taking a look at some of the professionals picks. Right now, like I'm ahead of I think Rich Eisen and like Steve Mariucci for like total picks.
NFL Network? Yeah.
On NFL Network. So like we right there, bro. Like,
yeah, we
right there.
We know.
So yeah, I mean Detroit's been fighting every week. Again, I'll be honest. I made fun of Dan Campbell at the beginning of the season, talking about biting kneecaps and ankles and all that stuff. But like his philosophy is in this team.
When they draft next year, bro, I think they're gonna get better. I really do.
Yes.
I think this is the right coach for them, and I feel like the players love him and want to play for him, man.
And you know what?
It's hard to get that kind of a coach where the players are like, you know what, I'm gonna lay it all on the line, man, because this dude right here, I believe in him. And when they get him his first win, oh man, boy, they're gonna party like
it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. And I think that'll help them with free agency as well. But unfortunately, the Browns got to get back on track. And when you see Detroit on your schedule, it's a get right week. Houston at Tennessee. This is easy. I don't think we need to discuss this. I got Tennessee. Green Bay at Minnesota. I was a little up in the air in this one. This is the division matchup. Minnesota always seem to play Green Bay well, but I got the Packers. Where you got?
I'm going with the Pack. Please beat Kirk Cousins. I want him to come into our house looking sad and dejected, and Kyle better not go over there and give him no hug. He better not go over there and touch. Kirk.
That's his boy.
You know it is, man. Kirk, it's okay. I still love you. Just want you to know I wrote you a letter. Here it is. I'm gonna slip it into your waistband there. Read it when you go into halftime.
All right, Miami at the Jets.
Ooh, that was a hard one.
That was tough. I'm going with the Dolphins too. I think they kind of getting their stuff back together. I mean, but sometimes the Jets, they come out with a game plan.
Flacco is starting.
That's why I went with the Dolphins.
That's why it's hard.
That's why I went with the Dolphins. If it was Mike White, I'm like, I might have leaned more towards the Jets. But because Flacco is starting, yeah, I know he's a veteran, but He ain't played in how long? He gonna have to get warmed up. Give me Miami. Y'all already know. I said this earlier. I don't pick the Eagles. I only picked them one time this season. I'm not picking them this week. I'm going with the Saints, even with Trevor Siemian, even on the road. Who you got?
I'm rolling with you, Saints.
Okay, cool. Washington at Carolina. This might have been a tough one, but Washington not having Montez Sweat and Chase Young, Cam Newton has injected life back into this Carolina Panthers organization. I'm so happy to see it. I'm going Panthers.
I am going Panthers. All I gotta say is I'm back.
I'm back.
Hey, you gotta love it, man. You gotta respect it. They did say they were grooming Cam as the starter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they preparing him as the starter. So that sucks because you know what? Another USC quarterback proved to be trash. That's just me. I'm a UCLA guy. So I'm gonna hate on SC any chance I get. Thank you for Talanoa Hufanga. Thank you for Ronnie Lott.
Oh yeah, everybody else.
But your quarterback's garbage.
Our Niners at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Listen, I'm picking our Niners, but I'm picking them with a contingency. We have to play like this is a meaningful game because I don't care if it is the Jaguars. Every game from here on out is meaningful. So we can't come in with that mindset like, this is the Jaguars. We should be able to coast because we thought we was going to be able to coast against the Cardinals B team and they waxed us.
Yeah.
But I'm going with the Niners here.
I'm going to roll with the Niners as well. And the only reason that I'm rolling with the Niners is because I feel like with having Dub back, it's infused the locker room with, the fire that needed to be lit under their ass. And at the same time, they did say that Elijah Mitchell is not practicing, but they do expect him to play. Here's the thing. We have a contingency plan. Jeff Wilson Jr. and Trey Sermon. And I know they're more
Trey
so
Sermon the ball.
I know they're more so the same kind of back, but at the end of the day, get Sermon in there. If Mitchell really isn't truly ready to go, I don't see a problem with punching people in the mouth with Jeff Wilson Jr. and Trey Sermon because you know what? They like to hit people, and I'm okay with that. So with the Jags and the 49ers, we should be able to run the ball down their throat and make their life a living hell and control the clock as we did.
Facts. Cincinnati Bengals at the Las Vegas Raiders. Since he is coming off of the bye, they should be rested up, ready to go. Listen, I told people that this Cincinnati Bengals team was going to be better than everybody thought they would. They still learning. They're still growing. They're still a young team. But I'm excited about the product that they put on the field. Again, I think the Raiders just have so much turmoil going on in that organization. It's just been a domino effect. I'm going with Cincinnati.
Same here. I picked Cincinnati. And there's another kid in Cincinnati that people are sleeping on. And I don't know if you know about him, but his name's Logan Wilson. That young man has been balling. Okay, he is a surefire with his numbers this season. He's a Pro Bowl linebacker. Young man is out there doing his damn thing. And I noticed him probably about 5 games into the season. I was like, why is no one talking about this kid? But he's a quiet assassin. He don't say much. He's not a big star power type of guy. I'm gonna slide this in real quick. I'm sorry, Dre, that you lost your job, but I think after your soul was taken by Eno Benjamin, it was only right.
Dog, we're not even gonna talk about that. Next, Dallas Cowboys at the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, this was probably the toughest one for me to pick.
This was the hardest game to pick.
That was the toughest one.
I didn't know where to go.
Because Dallas is rolling, but I feel like Kansas City finally got their monkey off their back with the game against the Raiders. That 41-14 is, I think, what people expected the norm to be throughout the rest of the season. So not saying that they'll have another game like that where it'll be 41-14, but I think Dallas emotionally, after getting dog walked by the Broncos and then turning around and dog walking the Falcons, I think that emotional roller coaster going into Kansas City, knowing that they have to face that offense, might be too much. I went Kansas City.
I did. I went with Kansas City as well. And part of it was they were saying on First Take who needs to win more, like what QB needs to win more. And I looked at it and I said Patrick Mahomes needs to win more. Ain't nobody in the NFC least finna catch up to the Cowboys. We know they're gonna be the division winner. That ain't nothing. That's a foregone conclusion. Washington can't keep up with nobody. You got the Giants. They ain't doing much of nothing, And who's the other team in the NFC East? I can't remember.
Eagles.
But Eagles, and the Eagles ain't doing much of nothing either. So that's an easy win for them. So you obviously say Patrick Mahomes because they're in a tight race. That AFC West is a fight.
Yeah,
I did not expect that.
Yeah.
It's a fight with everybody.
Yep. We got Arizona at the Seattle Seahawks. This is easy. I went Arizona.
I went with the Seahawks because they're at home.
Finally, we got it different. So
I figured, because everything else we was spot on.
This might be the first. This might be the game that even us up. So
yeah,
if the Cardinals win, then I think we're gonna even it out. But if the Seahawks win, then I think you take a 2-game lead in the season.
I might.
So I'm pulling for the Cardinals. We got Steelers at the Chargers. I went Chargers.
Same here.
And then Giants at Tampa. I went Tampa. They got to redeem themselves from last week.
Yeah, and they're gonna beat the brakes off poor Daniel Jones. There ain't no hope for him to win this game. I know Taylor Heineke was standing at the podium and he was like, "Man, this is something you dream about. I beat Tom Brady." Right. But Daniel Jones ain't gonna be able to say the same words. It's a wrap.
Cool. So that's our picks for this week. Be sure to take a look at those games and track our progress. Again, Dion is 88-61-1. I am 87-62-1. We got one game as a different outcome. Arizona versus Seattle. Funny how it's the NFC West. So that could even it up. Or
we can hope for a tie.
2-game lead.
We can hope for a tie.
We can hope for a tie. We can hope for it. But then that would keep it even.
Yeah, that's true.
And would still keep it even. So
somebody
got to win. Somebody got to lose. Listen, Dion, bro, thank you so much. It's all love. You my brother. Let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, man. You see the name right there, 90 Gang Podcast on YouTube. You can find me at SwiftD on Twitter. That's at SWIFTDEE. You can find me on Instagram at 49er_Dion. Shout out to Mose. Definitely everybody like and subscribe, man. This dude has football knowledge beyond football knowledge, man. And to tell you the truth, when you catch him hanging with other people, Mose be requested on all platforms. People be calling him up, man. I remember I tried to get Mose for 2 or 3 weeks straight, and I couldn't get it because he was already busy. So definitely hit the like and subscribe button for Mose, man. Continue to work his algorithm up. Y'all can come check me out on 90 Gang Podcast. I'm a little crazy at times, so I'm just going to warn you. I may go fly off the handle a little bit, but I usually wrap back around. I am a faithful. Somebody called me out because I said I wasn't watching no games as long as Jimmy Garoppolo was the starting quarterback. But it's hard not to, man. You want to be that person. You want to watch the games because you want to support the squad. But, you get sick and tired of watching somebody do the same old thing. But if he can do what he did last week and we can win another game running 44 times, I'm perfectly fine with it. I have no problems, But thank you so much, Mose, for having me on. Everybody out there, like and subscribe. And we are blessed individuals, man. And y'all have yourselves a great day.
Listen, man, I know next week is Thanksgiving week. So if we can't do it next week, we got to set something up for the week after. But I'm going to be on 90 Gang Podcast. We're going to do the same thing, run through the games, make our picks. We're going to see where our total records are, and we're just going to keep it going. Thank you so much for everybody who tuned in. We will catch y'all next week on what we learned here at Mose Knows. Stay tuned. This is the first show. We jumping right over to the next show, Fantasy Hallers. We're giving you a fantasy preview of what happened in Week 10, what we're looking forward to in Week 11. We'll see you on that show. Peace.
All right, peace.